What is up, y'all? This is JT. Have you ever broken your hammer handle on one of your favorite hammers? Well, in this case, I did. And I haven't found a handle that will necessarily fit in it. I have an extra handle, but I think it's for a hatchet or a small axe. And it's quite a bit bigger when it comes to this size right here. And I don't really want to do any modifications to the rubber part. But anyway, this is a really solid rubber mallet. Probably one of the most solid ones that I've ever owned or even picked up and held. And I have smashed this thing on all kinds of things, suspension parts and wrenches and all kinds of stuff. And literally there's like no damage. But it did pop off once, and so I put like a drywall screw which cracked it, and it also cracked the handle a little bit. But as you can see, I've got these hose clamps sitting on this handle, and there's a reason for that. This broke once before, and as you can see, it broke all the way down to here, and that's where the original glue, I glued it with who knows what. I honestly can't remember, but it held, and it held wonderfully, especially with these clamps in here. You just got to watch out you don't get cut on them every once in a while. But I just left the clamps on there, and it ended up breaking in a different spot right below it, and you can kind of see where the old one was. You know, I might have just used some Elmer's glue, and what I have now, which is separated somehow. Shake it up really well. Oh, that's great. It's probably no good. But anyways, what we're going to do is try to use Titebond 3. And so, I don't know a lot about wood, but I do know that there is previous glue on here. And it's going to be, I don't know if that'll cause any issues. So what I'm going to do is use a non-residue cleaner, like brake parts cleaner, carb cleaner, anything like that. And basically I'm just going to spray it lightly because it will soak into the wood. I might actually just spray it on the rag. That's probably what I'll do. And I won't be able to show the actual process, but you'll get the idea. So I'm going to spray it on this, and I'm just going to wipe this off like that. Try to get the remainder of the old glue off. And then once I do that to both sides, I'm going to loosen these clamps, prepare them for the next gluing, and then I'm going to put glue on here and glue on here. That way it makes sure and get in all the grains. And then I will place the hammer back together and put these back on it to hold it. And if it is glued correctly, you will not need these for a while. But if you leave those on, then it remains strong regardless. So that is what I'm going to do. So step one is cleaning. So find a clean spot on your preferably t-shirt material rag, because I don't like shop rags. They leave a lot of lint. And hopefully you have cleaner in your can. Okay, there we go. Got some cleaner on my rag. It's not the cleanest rag in the world. And we're gonna just lightly rub this as to not soak the wood. We don't want it to penetrate into the wood, although if it does, this stuff evaporates very quickly, which is why I use it for a lot of things. Don't go this direction because you'll catch on the grains, and then you'll chip out more than you need to. So just do that on both sides, and then we'll prepare it for the glue. Okay, just to show you a reference, I sprayed it directly on this one, like I told you not to, and now it's wet. So now I'll have to take a little bit extra time. I don't know if you can see the difference, but this bottom one is a little bit wet, a little damp. And that's why I was saying spray it directly on the rag and not on what you're working with. So I've loosened these so they can move out of the way, and it can just move out of the way. If I need to, I'll take it off, put the glue on, and slide it back on, but hopefully I won't have to do that. So what I'm going to do is let these dry for a little bit, and also wipe them some more because I didn't wipe it really well. Okay, I let this sit for a couple of minutes while I got some mosquito spray. They were swarming me. But now I've got my Type Bond 3, and one thing about Type Bond 3 that I absolutely hate, and this is just, that's ridiculous. The best glue you can buy is literally Elmer's Max. I'm not sure what the exact name is, but it's something Max. Best glue you can buy. But it's hard to find. So you just put some glue on here. This stuff is really watery, very gross. And always remember to go with the grain or you're gonna get a giant splinter. And put something underneath your whatever you're gluing, because this stuff, like I said, it runs like crazy. Get it nice and in these joints. No need to waste it like I just did, but what I want to do is actually, there's some cracks in certain parts and I want to fill those cracks in. So now this part right here I'm gonna have to not film because it's gonna be kind of difficult, but you can let this sit for like just a quick hot minute, and because like I said, it's really super watery. The setup time is really weird on this. Just do your best. Don't put too much, don't put too little, because too little won't grip. Too much, the glue will actually separate from the glue itself. So let's get this together. Alright, one thing I did was I put this top clamp on semi-tight, and I noticed I had a little gap in the grains. So I just took the hammer and knocked them back together. And what that did was it took this gap, there was a huge gap right here, and it made it go away. So now we put our second clamp on, and if you want to, you can smooth out the glue so that you don't have super big runs, and also it'll fill in all the gaps, make it less splintery, hopefully. Damn, this is so watery. I do not like this glue. And I also burnt myself with my cigarette. So I'm gonna put this other clamp on, if I can move it. Just gonna find out where the other half of the brake is. About right there. And then I'm gonna tighten it. Okay, if you're wondering what I'm using to tighten these, I'm using an 8mm on an impact wrench or a driver. And as you can see, as I tightened it, it squished more glue out on all sides, which is a good thing. And then we just basically let that set. I'm gonna wipe the excess off, of course, because I do not like this glue. So just wipe the excess off. Let it sit for the recommended curing time, which on the bottle it says minimum of 30 minutes. Do not stress joints for 24 hours, so do not use your hammer for 24 hours. I would actually let it dry for a couple days before you really start hitting suspension parts or anything like that. But now your favorite hammer is once again your favorite hammer. No need to go to the hardware store to try to find a handle for this, because you're not going to find one. This hammer is probably 25 years old. So that's what this video is about. So that's it. That's how you fix it, and all you gotta do is wait for it to dry. Now my next project is I'm going to be putting rotors and calipers and new ceramic brake pads on this car. But before I do that, I'm going to paint the calipers and brackets red to match the car. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.